In a world full of danger where chaos never sleeps, some heroes fight to change fate itself. Today we dive deep into the story of Lloyd, the so-called useless mage, whose journey will prove that legends can start from nothing. Let's go. Our tale kicks off in this ruined place, where a war had taken place between the Demon King and the world's heroes. This girl is checking on the survivors and spots a boy standing alone, shocked by what happened, so she decides to take him with her. That girl's name is Mary. She starts teaching him about magic, showing him fire magic right in front of him, and tells him, if you can't learn this, you're not eating tonight. The boy keeps trying and trying until late at night, and he finally succeeds. He runs to show Mary his magic. She's impressed, then suddenly burns him with her own magic, saying, you've still got a long way to go before you're strong. That boy's name is Lloyd. The next day, she shows him water magic and teaches him how to use it. Lloyd tries, and on his first attempt, he manages to dampen the ground, but no actual flood of water. She tells him, this is how strong your magic's supposed to be. Poor guy, they've only known each other for 2 days, and she's already being this tough. Days later, he learns ice magic and even makes a statue shaped like Mary. Look how I made it, he says. She takes control of the statue, makes it grab him, then turns it into a giant. She tells him, you've still got a lot to learn. You don't have the strength yet. Lloyd feels frustrated. After all that, and I'm still weak, I need to train more and more to make Mary proud. The next day, Mary falls sick. Lloyd uses healing magic on her, and it actually works, but maybe it worked too well. She thanks him, then grabs him by the collar and says, time for magic training. Days pass, each training session with a different spell. One day, Mary is holding a book, looking at it nervously. Lloyd walks in, saying he's finished cooking, but the book slips from her hands. When Lloyd catches it, strange things start happening. He faints. She grabs the book back, shocked, thinking to herself, could he be chosen too? She moves him to his bed and resolves, if this is his fate, then I have to train him to be strong. I won't let him repeat my mistakes. I won't let him get cocky, and I won't even tell him he's talented. The next day, she explains his profession, a white mage. White mages are specialized in helping others, mainly healing, support, and so on. He uses healing magic on a piece of fruit and makes it grow bigger. She praises him, but then goes to a whole tree and makes it bloom in seconds, saying, healing magic should look like this. That night, they study magic theory. Lloyd mentions he heard there's magic that allows monsters to control other monsters, the so-called ancient magic. Mary tells him it's not important and he doesn't need to learn it. That magic went extinct centuries ago. Later, she teaches him storage magic, the ability to store items in a void and summon them later. He succeeds, but she's faster, pulling out her staff and smacking him. You're still slow and inexperienced. Never slack in your training. That night, they keep studying. He learns about the mana stone, an object that gathers mana and turns everything around it into stone. Basically, if you see one, stay away unless you want to end up the same. Months of training pass. Mary takes Lloyd to a forest, gives him a dagger, and says, simple task, return home after a week. Use your magic to survive here. Then she leaves him. Monster chases him, but he manages to escape. He realizes, I can't beat these monsters with white mage spells. All I can do is survive without fighting. He adapts his magic to survive. On day 1, he modifies his enhancement spell to make his fingers stronger so he can climb mountains. On day 2, he changes a spell to reduce mana usage. On day 3, he improves his detection magic, so he never runs out of food or water. He keeps refining his spells and survives the whole week, returning home safely. Years pass, Lloyd grows older, still living with Mary. While cleaning, he finds a book with a map to a nearby city. He's never gone anywhere because of constant training, and Mary even made a drink to keep him awake for a week. This woman is literally insane. One day, Mary wakes to start their experiments, but can't find him. He's left for the city. It's his first time there. Everything's new. A stranger watches him, tosses him a paper. It's a flyer for the Adventurers Guild. Lloyd decides to join. He joins a party, turns out. It's the Heroes Party. They're on a mission, fighting an ogre, but struggling. Without anyone noticing, Lloyd uses enhancement magic. The hero asks their mage to heal everyone, restoring their energy. The sniper shoots the ogre's eye. The ogre goes to strike back, but the defender blocks it easily. Surprised at how light it felt, the mage binds the ogre. The hero lands the final blow, and they win. The defender, though, notices something odd about Lloyd. Back at the guild, everyone praises the hero. The hero gives Lloyd a tiny share of the reward, mocking him. This is what a D-rank white mage earns. Lloyd leaves quietly. A girl tries to call him back, but the hero says, forget him, he's just a weakling we brought along for the white mage slot. Any white mage would do. Back to Mary, she meets a man named Will, who tells her Lloyd joined the hero's party. She's happy, saying it's time for him to face real battles, but Will notices her sadness. You're still regretting it, aren't you? He recalls when the Demon King sacrificed himself to steal her book and nearly killed them all, only for their comrade Sybil to use ancient magic to revive everyone at the cost of his life. That's why Mary wants Lloyd to grow stronger without arrogance. Meanwhile, Lloyd continues helping his party in ways they don't notice, boosting their popularity. One night, the hero talks to the defender, who mentions she's felt something strange in the attack she blocks. He laughs it off. Elsewhere, soldiers are suddenly attacked by golems. The hero's party takes the mission. Lloyd uses detection magic to find the source, a demon with a magic stone controlling the golems. Lloyd explains it's a rare artifact, then enhances the sniper so she can destroy it, and has the mage teleport the staff to him so he can seal it. The hero gets mad at him for giving orders, but Lloyd warns him about the golems going berserk without the staff. When a golem attacks, Lloyd teleports to push the hero away, then finishes it. The next day, the hero calls a meeting and kicks Lloyd out. You're useless. Even your healing isn't enough. You still lack strength. The same words Mary once told him. Somewhere else, we see another team on a mission to wipe out the Mudblock gang. They launch their attack, showing insane strength. The bandits try to exploit a gap in the defense of a girl named Silka, waiting for her to finish casting. Just as they rush her, the team sniper pops up and takes them out. Now that's team spirit. That sniper's name is Cross. Their leader, Yui, is tearing through enemies. Someone tries to ambush her from behind, but the team's defender, Dagus, steps in to shield her. Their white mage, Chrome, casts enhancement magic on the team, allowing them to finish off the gang, leaving only the boss. The gang leader, shocked by their strength, tries to run. Yui catches him, telling him to surrender nicely. He asks who they are and why they're so strong, then notices they're all wearing necklaces that mark them as S-rank adventurers. That explains it. He refuses to give up, saying, even if you're S-rank adventurers, you can't stop this. He casts a spell, summoning a giant golem. This golem resists magic and even arrows, meaning it's up to Yui alone to take it down. She tries attacking, but it has no effect. She backs off, asking Chrome for an enhancement spell. Chrome hesitates, lost in thought, but snaps out of it and casts the buff, allowing Yui to slice the golem in one hit. After the battle, they tie up the gang. Yui talks to Chrome, who apologizes for spacing out. Yui forgives her, saying they all know what's bothering her, asking about her sister, Sylvie. Chrome admits Sylvie is still sick, and that's why she'll have to leave the team to take care of her. Back in the city, Lloyd is wandering, looking for a team to take him in. He spots a statue of Mary, thinking she must have been insanely powerful. No one's come close to her level. He enters the guild, searching for any hope. Coincidentally, Yui is also there, looking for a white mage. The guild receptionist ends up playing matchmaker, introducing them. The moment Yui learns he's a white mage, she drags him off without even asking if he agrees, taking him to the team's HQ. Her team is shocked she returns so quickly. They ask if she's sure she doesn't even know his name yet. Turns out she grabbed him without thinking. She introduces him. Welcome to the team, Lloyd. He replies, I haven't even agreed to anything. The team considers canceling their current mission since they don't have Chrome, but Yui refuses. What'll happen to our client if we ditch the job? Lloyd suggests giving the mission to another team, but they explain it's an A-rank quest, meaning only teams of that rank or higher can take it. All other A-rank teams are out of town. They're the only S-rank team available. Lloyd is impressed. He wants to help, but remembers the hero calling him useless. Yui snaps him out of it. This problem would be solved if you were a strong mage, right? We'll test you. They take him to a forest and tell him to show them his magic. He hesitates, worried about disappointing them. Yui says, you might not know what to show, so I'll pick cast enhancement magic on all of us at once. No doing it one by one, and refusal isn't an option. The team warns her even most talented support mages struggle with that. But for Lloyd, that's not the problem. He asks, so if I do this, I'm in? She says yes. He decides to go all out. Thinking it's another kind of test, they must want to see something impressive. He casts not 1, but 5 enhancements on each member: body enhancement, defense boost, mana efficiency, magic power boost, and negative status resistance, all without even chanting. Everyone's stunned. Yui tests her new strength by slicing through a tree like it's paper. Lloyd, seeing their shocked faces, thinks he's failed and starts to leave. Yui yells, "Oi, idiot, where are you going? You're staying with us." They learn about his time with the hero's party and how he was kicked out for being too weak. They're baffled, saying if their old support mage had been half as skilled, she'd still be with them, though her sister's rare illness forced her to quit. The illness causes the body to turn into stone. Lloyd immediately remembers the mana stone, saying, "Take me to her, I can help." They go to see Sylvie. Chrome explains she was adventuring with her sister when Sylvie suddenly collapsed and has been bedridden since. When Chrome opens the door, negative mana fills the air. Sylvie's limbs are already turning to stone. Chrome warns him. Even the most advanced healer said there's no cure. Lloyd ignores her and begins. First, he uses a custom spell to absorb the negative mana, halting the petrification. Then he uses 2 healing spells. He personally crafted ones that consume massive mana but fully heal the target. Slowly, Sylvie's body returns to normal. Chrome, shocked, tells Yui no ordinary mage could do this. Sylvie finally wakes up. Afterward, Chrome says she'll return to adventuring with her sister so she won't rejoin the team, making Lloyd their new official member. They celebrate Lloyd joining. He loves the food, but the others say this place is meh at best. He says, "When I lived with my teacher, she used to feed me donkey crap." Kidding. It was all raw mushrooms, plants, or grilled monster meat. Bless whatever we had. They ask if Mary is a support mage. He says probably not during her tests. She was always making explosions. Silka can't believe someone who's not a support mage trained him to be this good at support magic. He insists Mary is far stronger than him. Yui cuts in. "All right, meeting time. The mission? Clear monsters destroying farmland." Strangely, the monsters are all different species, something that rarely happens. Cross points out that in this fight, he and Yui are basically useless monsters, like these need magic attacks. That leaves Silka to handle most of them, but her mana might run out. They decide Yui and Daguz will gather the monsters in one spot. Silka will nuke them, Lloyd will support, and Cross will guard Lloyd and Silka. Afterward, they head to their inn, but Lloyd takes another path. Dagus asks where he's going. Lloyd admits he can't afford the inn, so he'll sleep elsewhere. Dagus hands him money, saying, "Keep it. I'll deduct it from your pay later." Lloyd is surprised at how kindly they treat him so different from the hero's party. The next day, they set off. Lloyd stores their gear in his magic storage, shocking the team. They camp out, and Lloyd goes to gather firewood, reminiscing about Mary until he hears the girls screaming. A sea monster is attacking them in the water. He distracts it with a fire spell, tosses them their weapons, and buffs them. Yui charges, slicing the monster in half, but it's still alive. Silka fires a powerful magic blast, finishing it in one hit, shocked by how strong she suddenly felt. Lloyd then teaches them storage magic. They struggle at first, but figure out they need to chant the spell, and eventually they all succeed. That night, Lloyd and Yui take the watch. She apologizes for dragging him into the team so suddenly and thanks him for joining. He asks why this mission means so much to her. She reveals that when she was young, monsters attacked her village, burning, killing, destroying everything. She was the only survivor, and no one was there to help. That's why she can't stand by when another village is in danger. Before she can continue, Lloyd senses something and tells her to wake the others. Monsters are moving 3 giant spiders approaching. They try to sneak away, but Yui accidentally steps on a branch. The spiders notice and attack. They block the initial strike, but the spiders steal Silka's staff. The monsters try to trap them in webs, but Lloyd reacts instantly, buffing Yui so she can cut them free. Cross climbs a tree to retrieve Silka's staff. Yui slashes the spider's legs to immobilize them. Silka launches a fireball into the air, and Cross redirects it to hit all the spiders. They win. Everyone's thrilled. Lloyd apologizes for giving orders, but they tell him, "Apologize? You gave the best commands. Hell, you're our leader now." Everyone agrees. The next day, they pack up to head to the village. Lloyd wonders why the spiders were were there and where they were going. At night, we see Lloyd was guarding the team while they were sleeping. He was deep in thought, wondering about the monster's strange behavior and why they moved that way. But Silka and Yui cut his train of thought and asked, "Are you guarding us tonight again? Don't you think you're overworking yourself if you keep doing this every day?" He refuses to let them take over, saying, "I want you all to preserve your energy and sleep well so you're ready in case something happens. I'm used to staying up, and besides, I'm the rookie in this group." Yui was about to scold him for overworking himself and not letting them help, but Silka intervenes and says, "If you feel tired or it gets too much for you at any point, come and tell us." They continue their journey the next day, and Yui is still worried about Lloyd. They rest for a while, and Lloyd uses his detection magic to see if there's anything strange or any nearby monsters. Yui asks him, "What are you doing?" He replies, "I'm scanning the area." She's surprised and says, "Wait, you can use that magic too?" He responds casually, "It's nothing impressive. I can't use it for long distances though." He continues, "I'll keep using this magic regularly while we're walking, so we won't be surprised by an attack like last time." She asks, "Is there anything I can help with?" He tells her, "No, go back to where you were." Night falls and they set up camp. Yui is talking to Silka and says, "I feel like Lloyd doesn't trust us. I love having him with us, and he knows how to do everything, but up until now, I don't understand why he doesn't want to rely on us for anything." Silka replies, "This is normal. It happens like this every time. When we first formed the team, we didn't know each other well, not even close, until we spent some time together, and that's what made us like this. Surely, Lloyd went through something that made him doubt his abilities or his self-worth, and that's why he always feels the need to work harder." "I agree," Yui says. "He might seem clueless about normal things, but he has vast knowledge about magic and monsters. What kind of past did he have before he joined us?" We leave them talking and shift to Lloyd, who, as usual, is still guarding and thinking. Dags comes to talk to him and asks for help. "Come with me. I need you." He agrees, saying, "Okay, but I still have to guard." Cross tells him, "Go with him. I'll handle the guard duty." Lloyd follows Dags, who is tying bells together. Lloyd asks, "What are you doing?" Dags responds, "This is a bell trap. These will make noise if any monster gets close, so we know and can take precautions. So, you can relax now." Lloyd says, "It's really not necessary, Dags." Dags replies, "We used to do this before you joined the team. We don't want you overworking yourself." Lloyd says, "But if I sleep or rest, I won't be able to use the detection magic. I need to continue the guard." Dags teases him, "Aren't you tired? You still don't trust us, right?" Lloyd says, No, the bells are useful for added safety. I just want to be extra cautious." Dags then tells him, "I'm saying you still don't trust us. You keep guarding and scanning at night by yourself without telling us. Anyone would see this as a sign that you don't trust us." Poor Lloyd doesn't realize that his efforts to help them might actually make them think this way. All he wants to do is help. He remembers Mary's and the hero's words that he was still talentless and inexperienced. He says, "But if I don't work hard, I'll just cause problems for you." Dags says, "Oh, so you want to cause problems? Do you think we formed this team to be able to do things together that we couldn't do alone? We're supposed to cooperate." "Sure, some things might cause problems, but you need to rely on your friends more, Lloyd." Lloyd pauses and says, "Rely on you? I never even thought about that." Dags jokes, "Where did you grow up? Seriously, Lloyd." Lloyd says, "So it's okay for me to rely on you guys? A weak person like me who lacks experience to rely on others?" Dags gets frustrated. "You've made us sick of hearing this. Every time someone talks to you, you say, 'I'm weak. I lack experience.' None of us in the team think you're weak. Say that again, and I'll kill you. Now, let's get some sleep. Dawn is almost here." They go back, and finally, Lloyd gets some rest that night. The next day, Lloyd asks Yui to help him fetch water. "You can't even do that, huh?" Yui is excited, saying, "Let's go!" And the others are looking at him, finally relying on someone for something. "You guys are so silly." In another place, we switch to a mysterious figure. A messenger approaches him and says, "We've finished placing the stones in the designated spots." The figure holds a map, and the map starts to glow. He asks about the high-level adventurers in the city. The messenger replies, "The damage caused by the monsters in the areas we targeted has drawn many of them away. That's why most of them are out of the city right now." Now the only ones left in the city are the lower level adventurers and the Heroes Guild. The mysterious figure says, I wish we could get rid of the Heroes Guild too, but they only act on orders from the state. It's fine though. It'll be interesting to see the Heroes Guild fight alone. Go now. Tell our client that the time has come to execute the plan, he says. This mysterious person is called Michel, and it looks like he's involved in something much bigger than expected. We return to our heroes, who continue their journey to the farm. However, something strange is happening. No monsters have shown up along their path so far. Yui asks, are you sure you're not doing anything with your magic? Lloyd replies, no, I'm just using detection magic periodically, but it doesn't affect the monsters or push them away. He decides to use his magic again, but this time on a larger scale. When he does, he's shocked. He says, there's a group of monsters about 10 kilometers away. The others are surprised because that's exactly the area where the farm they're headed to is located. Yui asks, wait Lloyd, didn't you say you couldn't detect things from far away? He responds, yeah, but 10 kilometers isn't that far. Silka says, 10 kilometers? That's almost 10 times the range of a regular mage's detection. Even you are surprised. Lloyd says, it consumes a lot of mana though, so it's not practical, but fine, I admit it, I'm strong. Dags jokes to Yui, stop being so shocked every time Lloyd does something, and Cross chimes in, your little heart can't handle all these surprises, but it's fine, just bear with it. Finally, they arrive at the farm, only to discover a huge number of monsters, way more than they expected. Lloyd says, that's not the problem. The real issue is that the monster traps didn't detect anything except here. The question is, where did all the other monsters go? They agree because the forest should be full of different types of strong monsters, but there's no sign of any battle or struggle anywhere. Lloyd asks Yui about the farm owner. She tells him that he was injured by a big wolf, so he decided to stay in the city with his son until he recovered. Lloyd says, what a shame. If I could have asked him a few questions, I could have gathered some evidence about what's happening here. While they're talking, Cross notices something shining among the monsters. He asks, can you guys see that? But none of them can. He points out, that black thing over there looks like a stone. The others feel like they're blind because they can't see anything, even Lloyd. Normally, Cross has excellent eyesight because he's a sniper. Lloyd uses enhancement magic on his eyes to improve his vision, and he can now see it. It turns out to be a huge mana stone emitting cursed mana. He says, I can see it now. It's a mana stone, and it's cursed. He casts enhancement magic on everyone else to help them see it too. They're all concerned, but don't understand what it is or what it means. Lloyd explains, this is a magical stone from the monster clan. It's a special spell used by monsters to control other monsters. Yui asks, so you're saying this stone is attracting the monsters here? Lloyd uses detection magic again, and he's shocked to discover that a large horde of monsters is approaching them, a mix of various kinds of monsters. More than 0 of them. That's 10 times the number at the farm. The group is in shock, confirming that the stone is the cause. Lloyd thinks for a moment and says, is someone trying to wipe us out? No, this is much bigger than that. They're probably targeting something else. Cross says, shouldn't we be running now? Yui responds, if we run now, they'll destroy the farm and the surrounding areas. Lloyd says, so you want to face thousands of monsters head on? She falls silent because honestly, it's a tough situation. Dags adds, I'm not even sure we could escape at all. Silka continues, and if the monsters keep chasing us all the way to the city, the civilians will be in danger too, not just us. Finally, Lloyd cuts through their thoughts and says, we'll fight. I have a plan. He says, first, we need to do something about this stone. Cross, can you hit it? Is that possible? Cross responds, yeah, it's a bit far, but I can hit it, but I can't guarantee that it'll break with enough force. Lloyd says, leave that to me. Cross prepares to shoot his arrow, and Lloyd begins to activate the enhancement magic, applying it to both Cross and his bow, as well as the arrow. He shoots his arrow, and from the first strike, the stone shatters. As usual, the team is shocked by what Lloyd has done, but the kid has learned, and he says, I just used enhancement magic. You're the one who hit the stone with your skills. They turn back to the wolves and notice they've started fighting and killing each other, returning to their usual ferocity. This was actually Lloyd's plan. At least, if they don't kill each other completely, it will reduce their numbers significantly. However, this doesn't matter to the approaching monsters. But Lloyd has a plan for these monsters as well, and the team prepares in their positions. The monsters are getting closer, and Lloyd waits for the right moment. Just as the monsters are about to attack, they begin executing the plan. Silka uses her fire magic to create a vortex, and this vortex is bigger and stronger than usual. Lloyd activates his enhancement magic on it, boosting the magical power and reducing mana consumption. The kid is literally giving them a fiery show. However, this isn't enough to take down the monsters. He asks Silka if she can keep going, and she replies, "Yes, I can fire 5 more." He tells her to go ahead, and as soon as she's done, she should switch to wind magic. Meanwhile, Lloyd goes to Cross to begin the second part of the plan. Cross asks him, "So you're going to keep burning the forest with fire and wind magic to block the monsters' vision, right? And even the flying ones?" Lloyd confirms, and they begin executing the plan. He uses telepathy magic to share the locations of the flying monsters with Cross, using his exploration magic. Indeed, Cross can see them and begins to take them out. Next, they go to Silka to begin the final stage of the plan. She tells him she's ready but is nearly out of mana. He tells her to hold his hand, and when she does, he starts transferring some of his mana to her. She begins to cast the spell, which is Rain, and this puts out the fire that was killing the monsters, preventing any forest fires from happening. She's now completely out of mana, and Yui and Dags compliment them. Finally, it's their turn, and their job is to finish off the remaining monsters. Lloyd lies down on the ground and says to himself, "I can't believe after all this I'm actually tired." "Well, I guess you were waiting to get tired, huh?" Yui and Dags are still working on killing monsters using Lloyd's enhancement magic until they finally finish them off. Silka has gotten some rest, but Lloyd feels something is wrong. He says to Yui, "We need to go back to the city immediately." Yui asks, "What are you talking about? We're all exhausted. What's the rush? Is something wrong?" He tells her, "If I'm right, the person behind all of this is targeting the city. They've deceived us all to get us as far from the city as possible." They are surprised by his words. He continues, "They've sent all the high-ranking adventurers on missions outside the city, which is taking them far from the city and will take time before they return." The team understands his point, but they reply, "Don't worry, the hero and the knights are in the city. As long as we have those forces, no one can easily defeat the city, right?" They start to believe him and decide to head back to the city just to be cautious. Lloyd then pulls out a strange drink, drinks it, and uses his magic on the team. He runs at an insane speed. The team is shocked by his speed, and when they run after him, they realize their own speed has increased as well. We cut to the villain Michelle. A follower named Gris comes to him. He tells him that the plan is going smoothly, and their army is heading toward the city. They talk about a girl being the main reason for their success and that they will use her later. But who is this girl? We'll find out shortly. Gris isn't concerned, saying, "Aren't you the right hand of the Demon King? I'll support you with anything." It turns out that Michelle is not an ordinary person, and this situation is much bigger than they expected. After Gris leaves, Michelle goes to a young girl and pulls out the same drink Lloyd used earlier. He tells her, "It's time to use your power," and he also takes out a mana stone. We leave them and return to our heroes, who have covered a lot of ground. They rest, and Lloyd hands them the same drink, which looks like an energy drink. Silka tells him to rest a bit since he's used a lot of enhancement magic. He replies, "It's easy because I've gotten used to it, so now I can reduce mana usage while still using enhancement magic at a suitable level." Then he shares a story about his training in the forest, where Mary threw him into the forest for a week and forced him to return home alone as part of his training. Since he's a white mage and cannot kill monsters, all he did was run away. From then on, he decided to master all kinds of enhancement magic and improve it to survive in that place. He continues, "Sure, it was basic training for me, but you guys think it's not normal." Before they can continue, he adds, "I'm so weak that I didn't even consider myself normal." He sighs and says, "I guess I need to train harder to catch up with you guys and get to rank S." After they lose hope of making him realize how strong he is, they get up to continue their journey. Lloyd uses his exploration magic before they move on, just to be prepared for anything. They continue on their path, but as they're walking, Lloyd suddenly stops. He tells them, "I've detected something with my magic. It's not a monster, nor even a human. I sense something very dangerous." He asks them to leave it to him and says he'll go investigate the matter and return to them. The team refuses. Yui says, "Are you crazy? You're heading to something unknown. You have a bad feeling about it, and you can't can't even fight. We're coming with you, and wherever you go, we'll be right behind you. We skip ahead, and there's a hut with 4 mages preparing something. The team arrives, but before they enter, Lloyd warns them that this is the place, and there are demons inside. Lloyd thinks and says, aren't demons supposed to be banned from entering the 3 major countries on the continent? Why are they here? The gang ask him, why are you surprised, man? Demons in the Mage Kingdom have been sending invasions to conquer us for ages. Why are you talking like this as if it's the first time you've heard about it? He literally tells them that he doesn't know anything because he doesn't remember any of his childhood. His memories only started after the last war and after his teacher. He continues saying they need to figure out what's going on before they return to inform the knights. Cross tells him that the situation is dangerous. Lloyd replies, dangerous? Since when has any adventure been easy? Besides, I feel the same mana energy from the mana stone we encountered before is present here. This means they were the ones behind the monster attack and orchestrated everything. Yui agrees and says, we need to go now. They're targeting the city, right? And if we leave them now, they could escape. Plus, we can't let demons run wild like this. That's why we need to strike now. They move forward quietly and peek through the window, but find no one inside. Lloyd uses his exploration magic and discovers that they're underground. They look for a way in, but Lloyd asks, Silka, you can use earth magic, right? He enhances her magic, and she breaks the ground over their heads. Yui immediately points her sword at one of them and asks, what are you doing in our country? The second one tries to use his magic, but she blocks him, and Cross takes care of him. The 3 hide behind the bricks, but Silka smashes the bricks, protecting them. They try to use their magic, but Cross blocks it. They try to escape, and one of them manages to get into a room to flee, while the rest are dealt with. As for the person who ran into the room, he uses a strange device to create a cocoon around the girl and takes her with him. The team notices him, and he starts to run away. Yui and Cross begin chasing him, and Lloyd senses a huge magical power coming from the cocoon. Yui manages to catch up to him, and the rest of the team corners him, but the demon doesn't give up and uses his magic on them. However, Lloyd casts a defensive spell on them, and the strike hits the demon, killing him in the end. The cocoon drops, and inside is the same girl who is with Michelle. She turns out to be from the monster tribe. They take her to the hut, and Lloyd begins to treat her. They wonder if she'll give them any information, considering she's from a different kingdom. The girl wakes up, and Yui starts bombarding her with questions. Where are you from? How did you get here? What's your connection to these demons? What's happening now? What's your name? The poor girl is still just opening her eyes. The girl says her name is Claire. Yui asks her why she was a captive of the demons. And Lloyd explains, we're adventurers, and we were on a mission to protect a forest from the monsters. But I felt the mana of the monster tribe there, he says, getting closer. I've heard that some monsters have the ability to control and command other monsters. Was that your power? She confirms. Yes, that was my power. We leave them and shift to the guards who were on patrol in the forest. Suddenly, they find a magical stone. As soon as the guy gets close to it, monsters begin appearing from everywhere and attack them. The guy gets literally overwhelmed, and the second one tries to flee. It looks like the trouble has begun. We continue with our heroes, and the girl tells them that the demons forced her to use her power, meaning the demons don't intend to take her to the good side this time. They want to use the monster's power in their invasion. If they take control of this city, it'll be easy for them to conquer the continent afterward. That's why they sent the strongest adventurers in the village on missions far away to weaken the city's defenses. At that point, Lloyd tells them we need to head back immediately, as fast as possible, and they start running. He apologizes to Claire, saying that making her run while she's tired was wrong, but she tells him, if they had left me, it would have been an even bigger problem. They get close to the city and rest for a bit. Lloyd uses his exploration magic again and notices something strange. He tells them there's a horde of monsters heading toward the city right now. And not just that, there's a massive army right behind them. The team doesn't know what to do. Lloyd thinks for a moment and asks Claire to come with him while the rest of the team returns to the city to warn them and start preparing for war. The team is excited because this is the first time Lloyd has relied on them. This is the moment, so he casts enhancement magic on them, and they start executing the mission. So, will our heroes make it to the city in time? What is Lloyd planning to do? Will he succeed in stopping the war? What's the demon's goal behind this attack? Many questions will be answered in the upcoming videos. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get all the updates first. Also, let us know which part of the content you like the most and what anime you'd like us to summarize next. That's all for now. Peace.